What is going on? What's going on, guys? Welcome into Rover Sports. I am here today, and today is officially Niners Day. And I'm going to be talking about the entire 2018 49ers draft class, and I'll give you my reactions to each and every selection of the San Francisco 49ers here as I have them pulled up on my board. And let's first start at number 9. So at number 9, we look at the San Francisco 49ers. And the pick before San Francisco was Roquan Smith, who could have really been an option for the Niners. But then the Niners decide they pass on Derwin James and Minkah Fitzpatrick, and they decide to go with a right tackle who is going to be a left tackle once Joe Staley retires, and that is Mike McGlinchey. Mike played at Notre Dame, I believe 3-4 years. I think Mike is a guy that when you look at an offensive lineman, you want him to have the intangibles. He's very athletic in terms of getting back in pass protection. He's really exceptional in pass protect. Compared to some of the guards in this class, the guards in this class like Will Hernandez and guys of that sort might have been better at run blocking. But this guy's going to be great at protecting. You could tell, like, his first step back, he is fundamentally sound. And this is a pick that, again, this is a high IQ guy that's going to come in here. He's a natural leader, a great worker. So I think it's a very safe pick for the first overall pick by the San Francisco 49ers. I really think that this pick was on the safer side for the 49ers. So I thought it was okay, but I kind of like the pick. Then we go to the second round, the second selection, and this is where I had a little bit of issue with this pick, okay? They select Dante Pettis. Now, this pick I think is going to define the draft class because they trade up. They trade up to get the kid Dante Pettis. And I'll tell you what about Dante Pettis. This is a guy that broke the NCAA record for kick return touchdowns. And on the board at the time, though, was Anthony Miller out of Memphis. And this is the guy that I wanted all along. So you look at the guy at 44 that were still available. You still had Darius Geis available. Now, maybe the Niners did their homework, and maybe there's some real issues with Darius Geis. So he was really the only running back left because Ronald Jones wasn't there. Sony Michel was dead gone. Kerryon Johnson, I believe, at that time was also gone by the Lions. So really, the 49ers, I think they were looking to land like a Kerryon Johnson or somebody. And to tell you the truth, man, I mean, this is a team that needs a running back. Jerick McKinnon is not, I don't think he's a capable starting running back in this league. Neither is Matt Breida. And then Joe Williams hasn't played a dang snap yet. So why are 49ers fans and why are fans in general so excited about Joe Williams? It's all hearsay, and it doesn't make sense. They don't have a true running back on the roster, a 3-down back. I don't look at McKinnon at all as a 3-down back. I look at him, he sometimes can come in on third down, catch a screen pass for you type of guy. I mean, this is a guy that was a replacement to Adrian Peterson and Latavius Murray. Like, Latavius Murray is a big back that's a 3-down back, but they didn't get Ronald Jones. Kerryon Johnson's more of a 3-style back. So now it's a running back by committee, but your running backs, you have Joe Williams, who you don't know if he's ever going to play football. He's a guy at Utah that played at Utah like 2-3 years ago. You have Matt Breida, who again is like another McKinnon, who showed signs as a rookie, but in no way, shape, or form should be your lead back. And then Jerick McKinnon, when you think of Jerick McKinnon, you don't think lead running back. So the Niners pass on a guy like Darius Geis. And also, guys that I would have liked more than Dante Pettis with this pick, you have Christian Kirk that was still on the board. He's a lot more athletic, a lot more dynamic, I believe, than Pettis. You have Kirk that, again, is a tremendous punt returner, but his production is sensational. And again, you're getting just, I think Christian Kirk is better than Pettis. I think he's going to have as better a career than Pettis. I had him higher on my board, and Connor Williams was still on the board, so you could have gotten a guard. You could have looked at Garnett or Lincoln Tomlinson, and Tomlinson got traded by the Lions. So are Garnett and Tomlinson going to be sensational players at guard? Are they going to help you out? So you had Connor Williams there, Jesse Bates, a safety out of Wake Forest. This kid had great tape, so he was still on the board. Anthony Miller, as I mentioned, and then possibly my favorite cornerback, one of my favorite corners who just has such long arms, so rangy, is Isaiah Oliver from Colorado. He was still on the board as well, and he went to the Atlanta Falcons, and Brett Coleman did a great special on Isaiah Oliver that all you guys should watch his channel as well. So the Pettis pick, it really was a disappointing pick, I thought. Now Pettis is going to be a guy in the slot. He does have good size at 6'1". He needs to gain more weight, 180 pounds. He did have 60 catches a couple years ago when John Ross was playing, on the other side of him. He did feast on crappy opponents like Oregon State and Colorado State. Last year, he did have 15 touchdowns, which was really impressive. I believe that was 2 years ago with John Ross. But I'm going to keep it to you straight, guys. Even I wasn't thrilled with the Dante Pettis pick, and I don't want a slot receiver in the second round. I want something more important. I want a linebacker. I'll take an offensive line piece, but a third wide receiver when you already have Trent Taylor in there, Marquise Goodwin, Pierre Garçon, and Aldrick Robinson. That's like the deepest position on your dang team right now. So you're not going to address running back at all, which is really disappointing. So then let's go to the third pick of this draft. And that is going to be Fred Warner from BYU. Now, Fred Warner, I saw this guy at the Senior Bowl, and he's a little bit of a tweener, which means he's too small to play linebacker straight up, and he's too big to be a safety or a cornerback. That's why I didn't love Fred Warner, because he's small. He is fast, so he's good on sub packages, like in passing downs. He's kind of a replacement for Eli Harold or Malcolm Smith when time comes to throw, and if the Niners want to bring blitzes, he can come over and clean up. Now, this guy's not like going to be a lock-in starter. In fact, he's going to have trouble getting off of blocks. He's going to have trouble in the run game for sure, because this is a guy that literally is like a toothpick at the linebacker position. He's an ultimate tweener, and they throw words on you such as versatility. Versatility, that's code for literally not that good at one single thing. So I like drafting guys that you can plug in specifically into a system. And again, I like what Kyle and John have to say about these picks, but for me personally, for this evaluation, for this video, I wasn't thrilled with the Fred Warner pick at all. I wanted Royce Freeman out of Oregon. I wanted another back. So I wanted more of that. And then also another guy that was available at the time when Pettis was there was Josh Jackson from Iowa. If you paired him and Sherman together, that would have been pretty nice as well. They did not elect to do that. So they didn't elect to do that. What I was going to say, though, is looking at my notes. I believe that the Niners' fourth pick of this NFL draft, he is my favorite player now. Now I can get to some stuff that you'll actually like if you got through all that negativity. And that is, my friends, that is going to be Tavares Moore, from a defensive back from Southern Miss. This guy's 6'2", 190 pounds. He ran a 4.32 at his pro day. Long, rangy, terrific athlete. And this is a guy that, even though we talk about Fred Warner not being small for linebacker, this guy can play safety really well. So you know that you're getting more safety depth if Colbert and Jaworski Tart, if something happens to those guys, you can plug this guy in at safety, and then you might find a diamond in the rough if you try him at cornerback, because he has the size to really be an outside corner of Richard Sherman. You're going to try to move Jimmy Ward to the cornerback position, so you're going to have good competition between Witherspoon, Ward, and now Tavares Moore. I love this pick. I think that this guy's really athletic. He hits hard. He brings the lumber, and he's an aggressive player that if you play him at safety, he's not going to be lost. And this is a guy that improves your secondary immensely. So I thought that this pick was really a terrific redeeming pick. So I look at McGlinchey as a solid pick. I really like the guy's leadership. I think he could step in, and it is an important position to get the Joe Staley replacement figured out. Left tackles fly off the board at the NFL draft. The second pick of Dante Pettis, I think that this guy can be shifty. I think he can be effective. I just wanted to see them address a more prominent need such as linebacker or running back, and then they address linebacker and they don't get the ideal size. They get Fred Warner that is totally undersized. Now Pettis, the thing that you like is that Pettis runs routes, really crisp routes. He's a great route runner. So I will say that about Pettis, and maybe Pettis' production with Jimmy G will just go through the roof. He's a good kid and everything. Fred Warner, another high character kid. But when you look at Fred, he can make interceptions. He's going to be great in coverage, but they're kind of specialty players when I want to get every down starters. And I guess with the Niners filling out their defense, it's hard to find every down starters. You then look at what the Niners did next. They get a defensive lineman, Kentavius Strait from North Carolina State. He tore his ACL. I don't know a ton about this guy. He played both in and outside of that defensive line there. B.J. Hill and Chubb were primarily on that front. And then a pick I do like in the 5th round is DJ Reed, cornerback, really solid. He's going to play slot corner for the Niners, so he's really going to help out. The only reason he's down in the 5th round is because he's undersized, but the guy does just about everything well from the cornerback position, so that's not a terrible selection. Then they get Marcel Harris from Florida, another safety that, again, is a 6'1" guy, a 32-inch arm, so he's going to be there, and he's going to add some depth with Tavarius Moore. So the Niners ended the draft nicely. I thought that the 2nd round honestly could have gotten better. The running back depth is ridiculous. It's really frustrating to see Jerick McKinnon, Joe Williams, and then letting go of Carlos Hyde. I think that could really nail the 49ers because why do you want Jimmy throwing 45 times? It's not like Jerick McKinnon, Devontae Freeman to have balance, and unless Joe Williams is this freak of nature, the running game is really going to suffer. So in pass protect, you get better. You added a weapon in Pettis. I love the safeties that they acquired, the Miami pick and Tavarius Moore, or the Florida pick, and then Tavarius Moore from Southern Miss is probably my favorite pick considering the value. So just looking at the Niners draft, I thought the 1st round would be really splashy. It was okay. The Dante Pettis pick, I was really excited would be Anthony Miller because he's going to be a freaking stud. He's going to be a beast. Christian Kirk, these are guys that, these are guys I think are going to have really, really incredible careers. They didn't select them. And then you get a slot receiver for Pettis, more size, needs to put on weight. Tiny bit of a project, and without John Ross, his production just wasn't exactly fantastic, and you pass on guys like Bates, like Isaiah Oliver, and then from the linebacker position, I would have really liked maybe the kid out of Ohio State that went a little bit later. Josie Jewell out of Iowa was the guy I wanted for the Niners. Josie Jewell, he dominated the Big Ten Conference. You could plug him in at middle linebacker, and now this linebacking core, you have Eli Harold, Malcolm Smith, and now with Rubin and all the investigation going on, this could be a really poor part of your defense, and it is worrisome now, when you look at the Niners linebacking core and then pass rusher. They're going to need Solomon to get to the quarterback next year. They're going to need Arik Armstead and DeForest. They're going to have a pass rush. So this defense, I am a little bit worried about this defense. I love Jimmy Garoppolo, but the Niners, I thought that they could have done a lot better job. I'm going to give this draft like a C+ to a B-. I'm not overly thrilled with this draft. I know a lot of people really like it. I know Niners fans are going to be optimistic about the year, but, it's time for this pass rush. It's got to be nasty. I want Rubin to come back so that you add that nastiness from the linebacker position. Brock Coyle is going to have to play really well, and I want this defense to really be elite, and it's just looking like I don't want Solomon to not get sacks. I want these guys to be able to explode off the football, get in there and hit the quarterback, and you're going to need Solomon to do that this year. If this is going to be a next-level defense, you need your 3rd overall pick and the 7th overall pick. You're going to need your first-rounders on your defensive line to step the heck up if this is going to be a really good defense, because I'm worried a little bit about the linebacker core, and I'm really worried about this running back depth. It's just, again, it's really just scary that you're starting Jerick McKinnon as your 3-down back. It just doesn't really make sense to me, and you're going to be throwing Garoppolo's arm out and just becoming way too one-dimensional, and that's something I fear. Garoppolo isn't Tom Brady yet. You're going to need to get him some running back talent, so those are my thoughts on the Niners draft. Appreciate everybody sticking with